by promoting and adopting the code of ethics for the Romanian evaluators community, by setting up an instrument for monitoring the observance, the compliance to this code of ethics, and also by facilitating sharing cases of typical ethical dilemmas that evaluators might have and their resolution. You might ask why, what are these, is not Chinese, this drawing. So it's 724, so 24/7. It's a scale which doesn't stay necessary level all the time. So you have to find the balance all the time. So evaluators should be 7/24 or 24/7 alert and observant to ethical aspects. Thank you.
I have a bit more concern. I'm a bit more concerned about some dilemma of the Romanian government vis-à-vis of public interventions for the economic growth and the connection of the domestic policies with whatever European Commission is asking through the partnership agreement. And in general speaking, for the participation and elaboration of the public policies in order to have economic growth, more jobs, better jobs, and so on and so forth. I do have some comments and questions, but first of all, I would like to ask you if you have some questions. Please, Mirela.
I don't have a question, I just have a remark. As far as I know, CNSPA was not responsible for developing the proposal of code of ethics. Deloitte was responsible for that.
Deloitte was Deloitte, SAR, and CNSPA.
If you allow me, please, I think it should be very clear that this was just a proposal. It was never approved by anybody. And at least in classes we were very critical with this code of conduct in CNSPA. So I would like that to be very clear that CNSPA never endorsed this code of conduct. It was just a proposal, and it should be worked on.
Yes.
So.
Excuse me, I didn't understand. The CNSPA was what proposing?
No, in 2008 there was a FARE project, FARE, more specifically FARE 2005 project, where Deloitte, SAR, Societatea Academică Română, and another SAR.
Another association?
Another organization.
Okay, another organization.
Were part of this program, and one of the outputs of that project was developing the code of ethics. So that was the first code of ethics developed in 2008. That was given to EBAL-ROM, which at that time was also set up in 2008 with a little bit of support from Evaluation Central Unit in order to be debated and then later on adopted within the evaluation community. That process didn't finish, I would say. Of course, there are some criticism to the code of ethics itself.
Because it is not
proper
coming
code
from practitioners. When you are imposing through a project as a deliverable to have an output code of ethics, you'll never get to an end with it. The approach is that you have to leave it to practitioners to develop their own code of conduct. Because each time when government is making in such ethical issues an intervention, my personal opinion, and I'm not going to say that it is general opinion, my personal opinion is that this profession is at risk. Government is not one of its attributes to impose an ethical conduct of somebody. Maybe because of that, my understanding about the evaluation in Romania is more that the government is interested in evaluation because it is a, let's say, a specialized service in consultancy. But it's not a feeling that evaluation is needed. And I can give you an example. For instance, in 2010, when we were in very big problem with the budget and with all the economy, and we were taking, our government took a lot of very tight, one of the most tightest, I think, fiscal policies measures. Nobody has done an ex-ante evaluation of this policy. Because of that, I'm considering, because finally, why you are doing this? In order to see if the final beneficiary that you are imposing to have a 24% VAT on each thing he's buying, on bread, on whatever. So when you are doing this, you have to understand if your measure is to be supported by the final beneficiary, who finally are you and all here, the people here. Otherwise, this is not evaluation, this is just an extreme, let's say, an eccentric approach to a specialized consultancy services, where I think you don't need a code of ethics, you just need to have maybe in consultancy a code of ethics.
I'd like to make just one comment here.
I didn't understand your last point. What do you mean?
Am zis că dacă îl tratez ca pe un serviciu exclusiv și specializat al consultanței, evaluarea, n-ai nevoie de cod de etică. Ai nevoie de un cod de etică în ramura consultanței. Pentru că la ora actuală evaluarea este tratată ca un serviciu specializat de consultanță. Așa este tratată. Asta este ce observ eu și cu ce mă confrunt.
I would say this is a little bit specialized, which doesn't mean is not necessarily right, is debatable, but I would like to make a comment. This was not imposed by the government, it was supported by, not necessarily by the government, was an EU-funded program which supported the community to adopt this, and also professionals were involved at that time. Rodica knows because she was more involved in this. It was a group of about 30 evaluators or potential evaluators which formed later on Evalrom, and they were involved in debating this code of ethics. Of course, this could be open document that will be continuously improved. This is another aspect.
No, but it was never accepted by Evalrom, it was never accepted
by evaluators, and the system was not set up. Yeah.
I want
This
to be very clear, because you quoted from him like it exists. It doesn't exist, it's just a draft.
it's a draft,
It
but
remained a draft, it was never accepted.
it's a start. So we start from here, I would say.
I don't say so.
May I say a few words? Because I was involved in the Deloitte program. And I represented this institution, which was in charge only with preparing all the materials for master
program.
And there was another expert who worked on this code of ethics. And as I remember at that time, I fully disagreed with the whole concept of such a code that was prepared. For the fact that there was no discussion on what a code of ethics is or should should be. I thought it was a confusion, and the confusion consisted also in the fact that the idea of some of the members of that project was that to prepare this document and try then to enforce it somehow like a regulation, a law, or the cabinet decision, and so on. My point of view, it was a huge confusion.
Yeah.
You shouldn't impose ethical rules by law. And this confusion also consists in the fact that the document was prepared having in mind something like this. And therefore, it was not assumed by the entire team that was in that project. Then it was being discussed and so on, but that was the main idea. So I think that one of the most important things is to understand what a code of ethics is, and secondly, how if it can be designed, how to be assumed by whom and how. I think Professor Miroshan is here.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I'm a beneficiary and a user of such code. I'm not expert in this, I was not involved in it, and I'm not promoting it, I'm promoting the idea. So I said, when I said it's a start, doesn't mean the document itself, the idea itself to have this. So, thank you again.
Okay, thank you very much, Marian. And I'm taking this opportunity to invite Mr. Professor Valentin Mureșan to no? Yes. Vă rog, domnule profesor. Măcar așa, 2-3 elemente fără să...
To be frank, I am finding only now that I have to speak. And, well, I'll tell something about what I thought around the documents I received from Adrian Miroiu concerning this meeting. And, of course, I choose the aspects which I am especially involved in as a man who teach ethics and who is also involved in setting up and spreading some small institutions concerning the applied ethics in the University of Bucharest. Now, around, well, the main topic for me was this object of study for you and for a lot of other people, the code of ethics, the ethics code. What's that, you asked? Perhaps there is no answer which satisfies everybody. So we have to opt, each of us, if we want an answer to this and we want to work with such an operational concept. I took into account a lot of manners of building the code of ethics. There is a tremendous variety of ways in which they are set up and conceived. There are a lot of confusions. For example, I saw there the code of ethics of the civil servants in Romania. If we had time to analyze this document, it will be a good lesson for what the confusions means in this field. So it is called a code of ethics, but it is a law. Well, this is a debatable question if a code of ethics could be a law approved by the parliament.